Welcome to the Man Cave Podcast with Dan Casper.
Time for our Outdoor Tidbits with Mr. Jake Bolks, who is joining us here this morning. Jake, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. Morning.
Morning. Hey, let's lead it off. So we actually had this text came in over the weekend here, so I like the heads up there. But this was from a texter. Saw the story regarding the sturgeon that was originally tagged in Jim Falls and was found at 600 miles south in the Mississippi River. Texter was asking, how does a fish that size make it through all those dams and all that sort of stuff? And what should somebody do if they maybe catch or find a tagged fish?
Yeah, pretty cool story, huh? That's a pretty long ways for a fish.
Exactly, right? No kidding.
Yeah, so I talked with the biologist about it. I had some ideas, but the fisheries biologists, they are the experts. So I ran it by them, and the first thing is, like, if you do find you catch a sturgeon that has a tag in it, as far as reporting, there is information on the tags that explains how to do it. Back in the day, I think they used to have like addresses and different things that you could mail info to or call, but in the last 7-8 years, all the fish that have been tagged in the Chippewa Valley around here on the rivers, it is an email address. And I don't know it off the top of my head. It's something like dnrsturgeon.wisconsin. But long story short, if you find a fish with a tag in it, just look at the tag. It'll explain. It'll give you an email address. The main thing that the fisheries department is looking for when you catch one is, like, if you're weighing it and or if you're measuring it, what's the weight, what's the length of it, and then what day did you catch it and where did you catch it. Those are like the big factors they want to know about. But you can send an email if you get it. Otherwise, if you reach out to your local fisheries biologist, around here is Joseph Gerbishek, you reach out to them, let them know you got this, or send them the picture of it that you took, or whatever. They love collecting that data. It really helps them out.
So just to kind of, expand on that, the reason why these fish are tagged is to collect data and for stuff like this, to see where they travel and all that stuff?
Yeah, yep, 100%. They've been such a protected species for so many years, and not only our state but other states in the country have done such a good job protecting them and boosting their population growth that, I don't know if you guys saw, but a couple of months ago, actually it might have been a lot longer than a couple of months ago, but there was a petition filed to put the lake sturgeon on the endangered species list, which, if that would have happened, obviously that would have greatly affected our sturgeon spearing and fishing opportunities. Mm-hmm. But because of all the data collection and research and protection that, the states have done and the biologists have done, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service was like, the populations are great, they're growing, they're expanding, there's no reason to put them on it. So it basically helps save our spearing season and stuff like that. So any info really helps manage the population, just like anything else. When you find, if they're asking for deer surveys, or you get that letter in the mail about your trapping season or your hunting season or your deer observations or your duck observations, if you answer those, it helps put more data together to help, protect our resources.
What happens?
So that's like, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, what happens if somebody would hook a sturgeon, like on the Chippewa River, hook a sturgeon this Saturday? You better not bring it in your boat, huh?
Don't bring it in your boat. So, on the Chippewa, we do have like a catch and release season, but that's in September.
Yeah.
When you go fishing, you always unintentionally catch a non-target species, right? You never truly know what's coming out of the water until you get it to the boat. So if you do accidentally catch a sturgeon, what you're supposed to do is just immediately release it. So we use our discretion, and if people want to, like, quickly and safely take the hook out of the mouth, take a picture of the fish and release it, that's fine. But the second you pull that fish away from the shoreline because you need to go get your camera, which is in the truck, or you need to hold on to it so your buddy can come down and see it, now it's in your possession, and now that's a violation. So if you do want to take a picture with it, that's fine. Just unhook it, take a picture, get it right back in the water so there's less stress on the animal.
Boy, that's a fine line of discretion for a warden like yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty evident. You can tell, like, who takes a good picture and releases it, or, there are people that will, like, carry it back to their car for a picture and then release it. And, I wouldn't want to be drug under the water for a while just for a picture from a fish, if you're looking at it hypothetically. It's just like, do your best to take a picture, release it. Everyone catches them when they're walleye fishing, catfishing, so it happens. Just release it quickly. You won't get in trouble with that.
Right.
But to hit on that second part quick, so on the Mississippi River, in like periods of high water, basically a lot of the time in the spring, the river, the water levels are above the gates and different stuff, so fish can move freely up and down the river through these dams and locks and stuff. And then in periods of like low water, the fish can go through the locks, like where the boats go up and down past the dams. So the fish on the Mississippi River have a pretty good, like a system to be able to move up and down through the dam. So they just wait for the right opportunity, and they can move as far up and upstream and downstream of the Mississippi as they want.
So what does that say, Jake, about this invasive carp that jumps and will jump in people's boats and everything else with the gates and, electrical gates or whatever they've got? Are they being successful in keeping them out of Lake Michigan, keep them down the Illinois River, down that way? What's the latest on that, do you know?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't know the latest on it. We have a administrative warden, Lieutenant Bob Strauss, who that's his job. He is our invasive species coordinator. And he's been working a lot with it. I saw that, I think it was last year, he was down there at, like, those gates that you're talking about. I think they got him, down south of Chicago or Illinois, somewhere in Illinois. And he was there checking it out and working with it. And he would be, I could reach out to him and talk to him about it and get some answers for you guys for next week. I don't know the situation with that yet. All I know is I hope they don't make it up here or into the Great Lakes. There's no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Hey,
we've all seen those videos. You're driving down the river, you get smacked in the face with a carp.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, they're scary. Those things would be scary to get up this far.
Yep. Hey, Jake, with fishing season and such, and invasive species, perhaps some reminders like when you're pulling your boat out and washing it off and that sort of stuff. That's all in play for this weekend too.
Yep, not just this weekend. I mean, it's obviously a good reminder this weekend. Anytime you take a boat on the water, when you pull it out, you got to make sure you ballast tanks if you got them. You can't transport any water off any lake. Even if you're moving to a different part of the lake or river, you can't transport any water because you just don't know what's in it. There's a bunch of, microscopic different organisms that could be invasive. So anytime you come out of the water, dump your water, make sure all the weeds are off it, off your trailer, off the hitch, off the boat, inside the boat. We see it a lot with hunters. You're walking through the weeds and collecting decoys, and you got weeds all over your stuff. You got to get all that stuff out of the boat. You got to get off the trailers. You got to, you can't be transporting that stuff from lake to lake because it is a pretty hefty fine. An invasive species ticket is, it starts somewhere in the mid 200s, if not 300s, for transporting, illegal weeds and water.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And just to kind of wrap it up here, Jake, I know turkey season's still going on from your side of things. Have you been seeing a pretty successful season for a lot of people so far?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I like the show enough today that I delayed going out today just to talk with you guys. had nothing to do with the rain or anything, but definitely just you guys. But I have seen, I don't know a person yet that hasn't got one, or at least had a shot that didn't take it or missed it or something like that.
You're putting a lot of pressure on me now, Jake. You're coming up.
I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself too, because now I gotta, I'm talking big game and I haven't even got out yet. So, but I'd say that in a good way. Like, there's a lot of birds, and they're still decoying from what I'm hearing or responding to calls, and it sounds like it's been a lot of fun so far, for all the hunters out there. And I hope that just keeps continuing through this weekend and this week and through the season,
Mm-hmm.
And Jake, you mentioned big game. That takes me back to, we're into May now, and elk hunters got till the end of May to apply for a license to hunt elk in Jackson County as well as up at Clam Lake. What any updates on that as far as how many are going to be available to hunt in either one of those herds?
no updates yet, and maybe I won't. I guess I'm not on the talks about it. I learn about it usually when stuff's about to be finalized or right after it's finalized.
Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe part of it is just seeing what the, how many people apply this year, or maybe they're just waiting to release the information till the actual period is closed and stuff like that, the application period, or they're just they're still working on it. It's brand new. There's a lot to go through. There's a lot of different departments and entities that have to work collaboratively on it. So sometimes it just takes a little bit to get through some stuff. No updates yet. I promise you'll be the first to know.
Okay. Is there any rule or regulation of how you hunt them? If you get a license, can you hunt them with a bow and arrow? Can you hunt them with a shotgun and slugs? Do you have to use a rifle? What do we know? Or what? I'm not an elk hunter, so I don't know what the
team or anywhere I've patrolled, so I'm not 100% familiar with them. But I do know that I think you had the opportunity to utilize whatever equipment you wanted that was legal. Rifle, shotgun. I assume shotgun slug. You're not going to go out with some bird shot and take down an elk, and a bow and arrow. I think those were all available options. I think most people have,
including these crossbows.
Yeah, they're considered archery equipment, so I would assume so. But okay. I haven't dug into it. I guess I'm kind of being presumptive here, but I would think that that'll be something I can definitely look at when I find out what the numbers are going to be and stuff when we share back. Well, there should be, when they release that, they should release the regulations and different stuff like that.
Cool. All right. Good stuff. Are you going to be busy this weekend patrolling the waters, Jake?
Oh yeah, I'll be out starting Friday night checking stuff. There's a lot of places around the area that right at midnight there's people stacked up waiting to fish. So, and there's some places that you can't fish. There's some refuges that are still closed till midnight, including like the Altoona Dam here in town. So you can't get out there Friday, even though the river's open. The refuge is still in effect until midnight, so Saturday morning. So people can't be fishing there yet. So there's a lot of places where I'll be out Friday, Saturday, Sunday working. So.
All right. Well, you be safe out
Hopefully
there.
Hopefully nice weather.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Well, you be safe out
there, buddy. I don't want to be
buddy.
standing in the rain. Yeah. Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, thanks for stopping in, and best of luck turkey hunting too there, buddy. Let us know if you get anything.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, you as well. I'm expecting to see some pics from you.
Oh, geez. Now you're putting the pressure on.
All the pressure today.
I know, right? So,
yeah, thanks for having me again, guys. It's always fun.
You got it. Appreciate it, Jake. There you go. Jake Bolks, Conservation Warden for the state of Wisconsin for our Outdoor Tidbits.